Good morning. Welcome to Rising. Krystal, welcome back.
Thank you.
What have we got going on today?
Nice to be back in the saddle. A revolt brewing, maybe, over the president's tariff threat against Mexico. Also, we've got a big show, actually. We've got the acting DHS secretary. We've got the U.S. Surgeon General. We've got some exclusive sound from Hakeem Jeffries. So a lot of stuff in the show today. You might want to stick around. All right, my friend, what are you looking at this AM?
So, Krystal, there's some complicated things going on right now in the U.S. government. For example, the possible revolt of the GOP over Trump's proposed tariffs. Now, we've been talking about this on the show. President Trump wants to get some compliance from Mexico on a request to essentially stop the inflow of migrants from Central America. It's going to start out at a 5% tariff on all goods in the U.S., and then 10, then 15, then all the numbers that are in fives after that until who knows where. And it looks like the GOP is not necessarily on board. They may even cobble together a supermajority, which would be quite a rebuke of the president's choice here. And now Mexico perhaps can wait things out. They at least will want to see if, in fact, the president has a political revolt from within his own party. Of course, Krystal, we can't separate the fact that we also are using tariffs to try to get China to comply. Now, I think people see that as more in line, at least, with what you should or could use tariffs for. It's a response to Chinese tariffs. In Mexico, it's getting immigration reform, in a sense, or getting some kind of change on immigration policy from another country with tariffs. And I think this is going to be a test of how supportive, willing, and able Trump is to continue on with these tariff policies, Krystal. So I'm not really sure how this is going to shake out, because these guys are all looking at re-election coming up with Trump. They may decide that they're going to try to change course here on this. I don't really know.
Yeah.
We got a Trump Mexico tweet. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
What's the Trump Mexico tweet? House Republicans support the president on tariffs with Mexico all the way, and that makes any measure the president takes on the border totally veto-proof. Why wouldn't you, as Republicans, support him when that will allow our president to make a better deal? Thank you, GOP leader. Well, I don't know.
Okay, that's a lot of thoughts cobbled together in one tweet there.
Yeah.
And look, the reason the House Republicans go along with the president more easily is because they are running for gerrymandered districts rather than entire states. The one area where Republicans have been a little bit willing to buck the president has been in areas where their donors are giving them significant pushback. That being said, the president, it seems like, you get a tariff, you get a tariff, you get a tariff. It's just become this, multi-purpose tool to use for anything that you're not getting your way on, and it doesn't make sense in this case. And on the China thing, I've been willing to go along with him a long ways on that. This part, it doesn't make sense. What he's actually asking Mexico to do isn't clear. The mechanism would be counterproductive because you're hurting the Mexican economy, so there would be fewer jobs to be able to keep people there, so you're actually exacerbating the problem that you're hoping to solve. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, he's not worried about Mexicans coming or Central Americans,
sure.
But still, it's similar ideas apply.
Yeah.
I don't know why he thinks this is going to work, but maybe he knows something I don't know, Krystal. He is president after all, and I'm not.
That's true.
What do you got going on?
Well, I'm looking at a new plan from Elizabeth Warren, already famous for her plans. This one called,
among other things,
economic patriotism. And, what's been interesting is she's been sort of rolling out all these different plans for child care, for wealth tax, et cetera. Economic patriotism is kind of her effort to pull all those things together under one overarching theme that all of these things can kind of fit inside of. She laid out the details in a Medium post. I think we've got a tear sheet we could throw up with what that looks like. And the first piece that she's really laying out here we go, defend and create American jobs. So the overarching idea here, she's going to create a government agency, cobbling together different things. So this isn't a new agency. This is sort of streamlining the bureaucracy of a number of other things that's going to take a more aggressive role in defending and creating American jobs. And the first really meaty piece that she's rolled out here is her version of the Green New Deal, the way that she would marshal resources both to grow green energy manufacturing in this country and also help support those efforts around the world. This, to me, is the first really serious answer from the left to the nationalism of Trump, to Trumpism. This is an effort to say, okay, we're not going to answer your nationalism by becoming this sort of global cosmopolitan elite. We are going to to leverage our own response to the very real concerns that people have about the loss of jobs, the hollowing out of communities, massive economic inequality. We're going to provide our own answer, and here's what that could look like. So I applaud her on that. I think it's serious. I think it's thoughtful. I think it's fundamentally respectful of the president's base and the types of concerns that they have been saying that they genuinely hold. What I would say is within this whole framework of industrial policy, she really focuses on how do we bring manufacturing back to the U.S., how do we create those factory jobs again. And I just think, Buck, that fundamentally misses the problem that we have also with automation. So you bring these factories back. These factories don't take already nearly as many human beings to actually do the job. So how do you deal with automation? And also, I don't really understand why there's such a fetishization of manufacturing jobs over the service jobs, the healthcare jobs, which are today low paying, but which are the jobs that are being created by the economy and which could be made into good, middle class, life sustaining jobs.
Yeah, I want to know if you think that, is this how Elizabeth Warren actually gets back into the serious conversation?
She has been back in the serious conversation. I mean she has been creeping up in the polls bit by bit and really eating into Bernie Sanders. I would say yes, the more that she has this sort of serious approach, really thoughtful, coming out with specific plans, that actually has started to get traction for her. And maybe, I could see her doing well in the debates and having more specifics. You contrast this to Joe Biden, who of course is leading the polls right now and is getting a lot of flack for basically cribbing his climate change plan. You can't imagine.
Joe Biden plagiarizing
again?
Shocking. Joe, you sketchy old man.
Look, I'm not trying to go too hard on him because most politicians basically crib their plans from other places. Elizabeth Warren is different, though. She has really done the work. She's really thought this stuff through, and she has an approach. Like I said, I actually don't know that it solves the problems that we have in front of us, but it is an attempt to answer Trumpism with something that is at the scale that we need it to be.
Warren's more thoughtful than Biden. I'll give her that for sure.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
No question.
Absolutely.
We'll see what ends up happening. Next on Rising. Acting DHS Secretary Kevin McAleenan lays out the exact actions Mexico could take to avoid tariffs. But is Mexico going to follow through?
Plus, the CDC has confirmed 981 confirmed cases of measles across the country. Hill TV's chief Washington correspondent Sagar Enjeti discusses the outbreak with the Surgeon General and how to fight vaccine misinformation. That when Rising continues.